Hold on a second.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think it's on my end.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's fine. Do you want to, we would do that after we do the pledge?
Yeah, I guess you see it up there?
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought, something we could do to add a little bit to the meeting.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's a great idea because we don't have our banners and, the reminders up in the front of the room that we normally would have.
Okay.
Staying warm?
Yeah. Yeah, certainly got our winter preview.
Hopefully that's good for the fuel business.
Yeah, it's interesting always that we get a bunch of phone calls for fuel when it snows, but it could be 6 below zero and you won't hear somebody's calling. They all panic when it's snow. They think they're going to be snowed in for the next 2 months.
I see the good Dr. Chips there. Hello, John.
He's on mute. You're on mute, John.
Dan Goss, hello. Ken Fleeson, good afternoon.
Hi there.
Hello there.
Hello, Joe. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
What are you all smiles about today, Jim?
It's just another day for a Richmar Rotary meeting. Get to see everybody's face without a mask on. That is a bonus.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, we saw you at the church on Monday. You're on mute. You're on mute, Tom.
Hey, Tom, you're on mute.
Maybe he wants it that way.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my gosh.
Geez, and I even tested it, but yeah, it was a beautiful ceremony. Father Bob actually was the guy at St. Teresa for about 10 years. And I guess it was sort of fitting that he did Mike's send-off. Really good message, I thought. He was comparing the superstar to Godspell back in the 60s and stuff. And yeah, it was nice for Mike. Actually, I filled out one of the cards. I'm going to send it over. And I did one through the Shell House Funeral Home as well. Just sending some memories of Richmar Rotary and everything. So, he always sat at our table for much of the time that he came. And he was a good friend.
Yep.
I guess if he always sat at your table, he must have been a slow learner.
No, that's the VIP table. You know that.
I was told that was the bad boys table.
Oh, yeah. Well,
who was the ringleader? Was Jim Roddy? Is he the ringleader of that table?
Yeah, he keeps it lively. I can tell you that. He's funnier than hell. Yeah. Well, we're going to miss Mike.
Mike was a good guy. He showed up regularly at all our events and service projects. I mean, he's there at pancakes and he's there at the park picnic and stuff. He didn't make a big splash sometimes, but he always show up. He'd always work.
Yeah, I was saying to Ken after the funeral that Mike and I, we did a lot of check-ins together for Apple Fest. And between the two of us, would wind up talking about hearing aids first, because neither of us could really hear the people when they would check in, because it'd be raining and would have hats on and everything else. And I said, between the two of us, we might figure out who it was that was trying to check in, and then would invariably send them the wrong way. So, we had a lot of fun with that.
Hey, Chris, how much snow did you get at your house?
I'm telling you, man, I got out the toothpick and picked up the flake. It was 40 this morning. I'll give them that. It was 40 here.
Well, gosh, that could almost lead to frostbite, Chris. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I refuse to wear long pants other than on Christmas Eve. So I'm going to brave it today. I'm going to brave it. Hey, are you guys talking about Mike, obviously?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a quick story. If for those of you who might remember the chicken barbecues along the highway in Richland Township, Ed Vogel used to bring the stuff over on, Thursday evening or Friday evening, and we'd start setting it up. And in anticipation of perhaps having rain, we had an upper frame and a cover. And there was only one guy in the club who would climb and do all that rafter work. And that was our buddy Mike. He would go up there and stay up there for half an hour doing his rafter work. He was the best.
I think he was a paratrooper or something in the Army.
Well, he might have jumped out of
skydive somewhere along the line.
He might have. Yeah, he did like skydiving. He was, I think he told me that he made sure that all the stuff that got off the ships at the port made it to the Army. So I guess there was some quality control in his background. But yeah, he was very understated, but like Max said, first to show up and last to leave.
Well, Ken, if we ever have another pancake breakfast, you're going to be hard pressed to figure out how we make monkey bread now. You said that he had the recipe for that.
Well, I have the recipe, but he had the magic fingers. He would make the dough and then he'd let it rise and he'd cut it into the squares. So yeah, he'll be missed. That's for sure. The one good thing was that he did break Brian in last year and taught him how to make the pancake batter. So we have a backup there.
How you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing good, Chris. Thank you.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too. Good to see everybody.
I just sent a letter off to my buddy Keith. I haven't written him for 2 years, and he's written me once in between. So trying to bring him up to speed, but I hope to hear back from him. I'll let you know.
Good.
So go ahead and assemble, club. I'm just watching.
Just one more thing about Mike, if people don't know, he also did all of our tax returns every year. So
nice.
Guess we just quit filing them then.
Yeah, the one thing that we are going to have to talk about is on the foundation side. He took care of making all the deposits and writing the checks in the Mars Bank account. So we're going to need to take a look at that signature card and see if there's anybody else on that card and just get that all corrected.
I have a suggestion, not for the current president, but for the soon-to-be past president, Jim Dionyse. Since he works at Mars Bank, he might be a candidate to do that going forward because it would be an incredibly small inconvenience.
Well, I've become Gary's depositor. I do his bidding all the time. It
okay.
Works out pretty well.
We know the kind of money he throws through those accounts. We know that.
Oh my gosh, it makes balance sheet blips. At the board.
Yeah. Did you read the small print though with Gary's deposits?
Yeah.
It says 60% of it goes to Gary Weston. I didn't realize
that. Thankfully, I had Chris as my attorney.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know your attorney. Hello.
So is everybody going to watch for those who aren't retired and are in the office working, are you going to put on the Steelers game today?
There's a Steelers game today?
3:40 p.m.
Oh, it's been changed to 1 o'clock Sunday. They're going to play Baltimore, and then at 4 o'clock they're going to play Washington. They're going to do a double header. But that's only if nobody on the third string for Baltimore, as long as they don't get a cold.
I heard they were
as a quarterback.
I heard they were going to unstuff Johnny Unitas and bring him back.
Dan, that's the first Twilight doubleheader ever in
I love it.
history.
Now,
Yeah.
question this. In a typical Twilight doubleheader, you get to stay and watch both games. But sometimes they have a day-night doubleheader and they empty out the stadium. Now, which way will this go? Can we have two tailgate parties, one for the 1 o'clock game and one for the 4 o'clock game?
Yes, but you have to stay 20 feet away.
As long as we stay 6 feet away from the bratwursts.
Yeah, but it only takes 15 minutes to empty the stadium because no one's there. You know, there's like 500 people there.
That's about right. That's about right. Yeah.
These
Sad
are
state of affairs,
very strange times for sure.
isn't it? Though.
Well, we got 14 people, Jim. I don't know if you want to get.
Yeah, I thought we could just BS all day, but no, I agree, Mac. You're the man to keep us in line. So I think let's kick off the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
Which stands one nation
Under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with
liberty.
liberty,
and
justice.
Justice for all.
Okay, well, everybody, welcome. Great to see everyone without a mask on again. It's nice to see that everybody has teeth and they can still smile in the whole pandemic process. Obviously, you're all on the call virtually, given the surge and the governor's call for items of necessity only. The board opted to move these to virtual, at least through the month of December, and we'll see what shakes out. Hopefully we can get back to the hybrid meetings back in as we get into January. Today's club assembly, so we're going to just kind of go around the horn with the folks that are here and get everybody up to date on what's been happening with the club. First, I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of items. We obviously were talking about the passing of Mike Burkhart. All were sharing some stories of Mike, and obviously a great guy, a great service-oriented person, and just a long-time Rotarian. So he will be, as Ken has said, will be sorely missed by us all. Before we stop off of talking about Mike, was there anybody else that had any stories that they wanted to share about Mike? I thought that was great that we, were able to spend a few minutes and go around the horn and acknowledge Mike's contributions.
Hey, Jim, I just know that when I was treasurer, anything I needed to know, Mike was the go-to guy and always gave me the right information. And of course, he did all our tax returns for us all the time, too. So I don't know how that's going to be done. Now, I'm sure Gary knows what's going to happen next. But, yeah, and in 5 days, and I was talking to you earlier, Jim, in 5 days, I was thinking when I over at St. Richard with Mike that in 5 days I lost 3 friends. I mean, it's like the sky's falling right now. So I don't know how you replace those friends,
Yes, it does seem like those things always come in groupings for sure. Yeah, along those lines, if you get a chance, obviously jot a note. Tom was talking about dropping off a note at the funeral. But if you get a chance to send Fran a note, or, the children and the grandchildren, I'm sure she'd love to hear from all of us. Likewise, I'm not sure if you were aware, but Tom Grant also passed yesterday. Obviously, Tom was a giant in the fight against polio, and such an active, important person, part of the Shelter Box organization as well. So it's, to Joe's point, it's kind of shocking. There's another person who we're just so accustomed to seeing at all the district events and a regular speaker to our club. So again, our condolences go out to Marie and all the friends and associates of Tom as well. Wanted to just give a couple quick updates on activities. The Satellite Club, I think Gary included it in the newsletter, but the Satellite Club had a successful collection of warm clothing items for Mission of Mars and the Operation Safety Net. Purchased 1,000 and received donations of $1,000 worth of gloves and hats and scarves and things of that nature. So the club, the Richmar Club was generous and donated $500 to help support that. But obviously the Satellite Club, is doing all the legwork to make that happen. Anybody that's still interested, I think I had read from Cindy that they're still collecting things. So items could be dropped off over at Lectromat or over at Mission of Mars over in Valencia. So appreciate all the work from the Satellite Club on that. Got that wild animal there, Chris.
That's my doorbell.
Just another couple quick items. The club did receive the Shelter Box Hero Recognition. That's an award that's given annually, and that was for last year based on our $1,000 commitment and donation. And I believe we've been making that donation and have had that commitment to Shelter Box for quite some time. So we received that certificate and recognition. So I just wanted everyone to be aware of that. And finally, just wanted to mention again, Ed Vogel, I believe, is still recovering in the hospital. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And I know Mary's on our call here, but Mary, our thoughts go out to you as well. I know you're getting close to your finishing your chemo, and we're excited for that. And again, I know everybody's been keeping you in their prayers as well. So with that, why don't we run down through the chairs? And but before we do that, I forgot already, Mac. I got a short memory, but Mac was suggesting, and I think it's a great idea, that we don't have our banners as reminders in the front of the room when we do these calls virtually, but it's just important to remember why we exist in the four-way test. So Mac, I'll kick it over to you and let you walk us through that. It's just a good reminder.
Okay, the four-way test of things we think, say, or do. So everyone join in. Is it the truth?
Truth. Is it
fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill, better
friendship? Will it be beneficial
to all concerned?
There you got it.
Sweet.
Thanks, Mac. I appreciate that. Again, it's just a good focus of why we get together, in addition to lots of other reasons, but those are really the core principles. With that, I'd like to go ahead and kick it over to the different board members. So Gary, would you please give us a quick update on the financials? Hey, Gary, you're on mute.
We have $56,779.80 still in the bank. We did make a number of disbursements through the community outreach as well as international, but I won't step on Joe and Mary Lord this time, so I'll let them report those. Just in addition, we did, in response to Wendy Myers, who did a program with the Cancer Caring Center, we did send $500 to help support their efforts. And because of the lighthouse, the Salvation Army bell ringing kind of being not very effective in person this year, we sent a donation to North Hills Community Outreach, the Salvation Army bell ringing project, as well as had the same kind of problem with the Lighthouse toy collection drive, where normally we collect a lot of funds and toys for kids. So we sent a donation of $400 up there to the Lighthouse for their toy drive this year. So with that, I'll let the other chairs take care of the other disbursements.
Gary, did you want to mention the Presents for Patients at St. Barnabas as well?
Sure. We also, the same kind of thing happened with Presents for Patients. we couldn't collect the gifts in person and off individual members as we usually do. So we did send a donation to the Presents for Patients as well. Yeah. Thanks, Jim, for reminding me.
Thanks, Gary. Okay, any questions for Gary? Okay, Mac, anything from your perspective?
No, don't think so. I think DACDB seems to be functioning for us. A lot of people still need to put their pictures up, but you know, if anybody has trouble getting into DACDB or has questions, you know, just drop me a line. I'll be happy to help.
Thanks, Mac. Chuck was not able to be on the call today, but he asked if I could just give a quick report. So for the next several meetings, we have Richard St. Dennis scheduled for next week's meeting. As you know, Richard typically comes to our meeting the day before Thanksgiving and is part of the turkey raffle process. But obviously he's not able to do that this year. So we'll have him, and he'll be giving us an update on his activities. The next meeting you won't want to miss after that will be featuring Gary Weston and Joe Schmidt to talk about Honduras. So we're looking forward to finding out the many challenges. There's enough challenges as it is, but I think there's even more so with weather and climate and other issues. So we'll look forward to that. And then we do have a meeting on the 30th. We won't have a meeting the week of Christmas, but we will have a meeting on the week of the 30th. And at this point, we don't have a hard agenda yet, but it may be just to update on some various Rotary programs. So that's Chuck's report for the month of December, and Chuck's scheduling already into January and February as well. Okay, Mr. Dan Goss, the beacon from Bucknell.
Thanks for that intro. I don't know about beacon though.
Bison.
Maybe dimwit.
Aren't you a bison?
I am a bison.
Like the back part of a bison.
Thanks, Chris. I always resembled that.
Anytime.
Two items, folks. Night at the Races. We're still scheduled for February 12th at this time. However, that's becoming more and more problematic. Not sure what we can say at this point. Fingers crossed that we can still do it, that some miracle will happen, but my feeling is that we're not going to be able to do so. Even if we were to do so, you know, setting up in a ballroom for 350 people with somebody in the back of the room probably having to use a telescope to see the screen to see which horse is in the lead doesn't make for a fun adventure. So on Gary's suggestion, I'm reaching out to Darla from the Keystone Club. They've done some different fundraisers to see if maybe we can do something virtually, like a Jeopardy type of a game via virtual Zoom meetings. So stay tuned on that. And I also got the information from Butler Country Club. June 7th will be the golf outing. Sent things back. Gary should have received, hopefully, maybe a thumbs up, Gary, that you received the information from me so that we can get that to the good folks at Butler to get things squared away. Again, that's Monday, June 7th. Gary hasn't gotten it yet. Well, that's the U.S. Postal Service for you. Mark that down. We're going to have a great time up at Butler. By that time, hopefully many will have been vaccinated. Fingers crossed on that. But we had a great year this past year. Don't see any reason why we can't duplicate it. And that's my report.
Stick with it.
Hey, Dan, just two comments on what Dan said. One, give credit for credit where credit is due. That was Mac who suggested the talking to Darlene Mata about some virtual events. But
Dan never gives me credit for anything.
It's hard to give credit to a guy who went to Lehigh.
I figured that. But the other thing is, I don't know if you saw that email I sent from the county about the small games of chance license. And that, I mean, I think that could make the issues with collecting credit cards could be problematic for that night at the races thing. So we'll have to be careful about that.
Yep, I reviewed that last night, and I was going to ask somebody here at work who does those kind of things to see if they have a workaround or know how to work within the constraints of whatever the laws are, so that we can make sure that we don't lose any small game or the license or have any issues. So fingers crossed on a number of things, especially night at the races. It's always been a fun event.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Carson's not with us today. I'm reaching out to Carson. We need to do a little work on our website. It's a little bit lacking right now. It's at our, the most basic of basic levels. So I need to reach out to him and see if we can get some additional items done to the website. Add bring some of the pictures over that we've had historically, contributions, submission payment forms, few other things like that. So I'll be following up with him. Joe, do you have a foundation report for us?
Thanks, Jim. I do. And in fact, I revived a Rotary Foundation chart for the club. And I'm wondering, can I share that, Mac?
Yeah, hang on. Let me give you permission here.
Oh, yep.
Okay. You should be able to share now.
Okay, I'll do better on the picture next time. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the club has set a goal between polio and the annual fund of $10,350. Now, you could see right now where we are. We need to get moving along here. We're at $1,600. And with not only money, but participation. As you all know, our foundation allows us to do community projects here and also around the world. So with that $10,350, in fact, I think with a club like Richmar, we're probably going to far exceed that. So let me stop this share here. Hopefully we'll far exceed that. And what we want to do with this is we want to start having a little fun with this thing. So I think on every club assembly, President Jim and I talked about this, we're going to make a knowledge contest out of this. So in every club assembly, there's going to be some more information about the Rotary Foundation and what the foundation does. A lot of little tidbits of information. In the end, we're going to have a knowledge test, and there are going to be fabulous prizes. So the first prize probably be at least a $100 gift certificate. These aren't cash prizes that you have to give back. In fact, you can't. So we figured that these prizes, in fact, I think, Jim, you had quite a few other handheld kind of prizes to also include there. So anyway, we're gonna make it a good time. And today, for instance, I want to recognize, even though he's not here, Adam Assisi. In fact, I did find out that he is transferred to Canonsburg. So that's probably why we're not seeing him at the meetings. But he received his first Paul Harris Fellow. That's not very easy for you to see, is it? Yeah, his first Paul Harris Fellow by using the club's program of matching points. So he, in fact, with instead of $1,000, he was able to contribute $500. In fact, he contributed even a little more than that. We matched those points. We gave him 500 points from the club, and he got his first Paul Harris Fellow right here. recognizing him. Now, in addition, he gets a Paul Harris Fellow pin. That's pretty hard for you to see, I guess.
Oh,
But in any case, so here's the Paul Harris Fellow pin, and it's been through a lot of changes. Actually, if you look it up, through a lot of years, this pin has changed. And once you reach that first level, the Paul Harris Fellow level, each additional $1,000 you contribute to the foundation, you get another pin, and it has a sapphire on it. And so by the time you contribute another $5,000, you'll have 5 blue sapphires on your pin. Then it graduates to rubies. So the next 1,000, you'll have a pin with a red ruby, and the second one and the third one. And then finally, at the $10,000 level, you become a major donor. So gotta remember this stuff. You're gonna pass the knowledge test for those valuable prizes. So keep in mind some of these things. Now, we're not gonna make it as hard as possible, but would like to have everyone participate. You know, along the lines too of foundation, I just wanted to mention this since Chris is on the call too. I had an opportunity to go out and start sharing your story, Chris, you and Jack Nicklaus' story. And it is so much fun to do it. I mean, and to think that back then in 1985, it started, of course, in 1988, our district could have raised $1 million. I mean, this is back in the mid 80s. So imagine us trying to do that, something like that now. But it was really a lot of fun delivering it. I mean, people just think it's amazing how you and Jack put that all together. So
thanks, Joe. And I'm not saying I've been around a long time, but my first Paul Harris pin had hair on it.
Thanks, Jim. That's all I got.
Okay, Joe, thanks. And I guess I need to point out, Joe, that none of those fine gifts that you're going to award are any of the circulating turkey trot awards, correct? That these are all like legitimate items, correct?
Yeah, you mean recycling a turkey trot t-shirt or something like that? No, they're legitimate. And again, none of this is using any Richmar funds. I think, I don't know if I said that or not, but just so everyone knows.
Just don't let Mike Lindelman in on buying those gifts. Everybody will get
one of them, the weekend with Chris in Florida.
Well, second prize is 2 weekends.
Well, you know what? If we can't get the weekend in Florida with Chris, I guess somebody will have to just accept the keychain with his picture on it.
You guys spend a lot of time alone, don't you?
Governor's orders.
Yeah, governor's orders, right.
Okay. Amy's not with us today. Amy has a couple of follow-up items from our board meeting to check with a couple of members. We're in the process now of trying to figure out the status of some members based on some past dues. So we just want to try to get some clarity about folks and whether they're still interested or not. So we'll be working with with Amy to help validate some of those folks that we've really not seen or heard from for quite a while. Tom, you want to give us a quick update? I know you were working on trying to get a socially distanced social event to happen, but obviously this doesn't seem like the time that's going to really work well, huh?
Well, I mean, we had some optimism a while back, thinking that maybe this thing would, finally end. And I mean, thank God we actually have gotten to the vaccine level here, and even a few friends of mine are in line to get it first. But unfortunately, I went to the Wiggle place, and I thought the whiskey thing would have been cool. And they basically said, look, we can't even have more than 14 people in the store. And in better times, they would possibly arrange for, tours and things like that. And I went over to the Sorgels, and I took a look at that barn. It wouldn't work for, what we were hoping to do. I don't think it just, it's absolutely a barn, and they rent it out and they do events in it. But man, I don't know. It seemed awful cold, and it was only, October when I was over there. I can't imagine trying to do something nice for New Year's there. We were talking earlier about the night at the races, and boy, it'd be so sad if that went away. But trying to do anything that anybody could enjoy, it just doesn't seem like it would work virtually. I mean, yes, you could try to do some of those I don't know, everybody makes a drink and have a cocktail hour online, but my experience with those hasn't been all that great. So it's rather unfortunate. We just can't seem to get past the curve. But I think as we get into the new year, we will. And then maybe we can plan out a few things. There just doesn't seem to be any place where you can safely get everyone together and actually enjoy it. That's the only difficulty. Other than maybe Treesdale, we pulled that off. But that's about it.
I think that was the most depressing report I've ever heard, just so you know.
Not a lot of good things to talk about yet, but I think it's coming. We'll get there soon.
Hey, Tom.
Yep.
Hey, Tom, what's that building behind your head?
Well, that would be the Pennsylvania State University Old Main picture. Rather important for those of us that are still following our team, even though they got decimated this year.
The Ophers, they're Ophir, aren't they?
No, they defeated Michigan this week and gave us.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They did beat Michigan.
That made the whole season worth it,
Well, sometime when we have half an hour, I'll talk about the 1932 Dickinson College Penn State football game. Sometime when we have.
Let me know, Chris, so I can have a full night's sleep, please.
Yeah, it might have been a laugher until the last minute. Yeah, it was a laugher.
Well, who holds the record for most points ever scored against Penn State football?
Would that be Lehigh?
It must be Lehigh.
Lehigh.
The game ball is in the trophy case.
Well, all I can tell you is that since the 1932 game, Penn State has refused to play us again.
Well, you might be able to get that date now.
If you can understand the concept of a sore loser, I don't know if Joe Paterno was there at the time, but
no, that was Rip Engel, I think.
It was 6-0 Dickinson, and Penn State's never gotten over it.
Makes sense.
Okay.
I think we had Jim. I think we had Jim Thorpe on the team back then.
I was mourning over Thanksgiving. It used to be always the Friday after Thanksgiving was the Pitt Penn State game.
Oh yeah.
Everybody always looked forward to that. That was a big deal. It's so sad that went away.
I agree. That was such a big deal. We had it in the 70s. It was in Three River Stadium 3 years in a row. And I saw Dorsett. I'll never forget watching that boy run. That guy could fly.
Okay. Well, Tom, I thought you were going to say that we couldn't do any of these like whiskey cider get-togethers because they've turned off making whiskey and cider to make hand sanitizer. But
no,
I'm very happy to hear that that's not the case. So
no, don't say that.
Still operating. I have to get something for special for Scott Acree down there.
I'm doing that in my basement.
Boy, what are you making?
Bourbon.
Oh, I love sanitizer. I'll be over.
Anytime, Chris.
I'll bring the ice.
Okay, Joe Mancuso, he's been a very busy beaver. So, Joe, what's been happening on the community service front?
Well, I have a little bit of a problem with Joe. Okay, when you say Joe with a foundation report, I get, as I get older, my brain gets a little bit relaxed. And when you say Joe, it just perks me up, and I just am confused for a second or two. I think we need to go with a Joe 1 and a Joe 2. And I'll submit that Joe Schmidt ought to be Joe 1, and I ought to be Joe 2. How's that?
You're right.
Joe Schmidt can go with Hoche.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. You're right, Joe. Whenever I hear Joe, I think, oh, who's talking to me? You know, and it's talking to you, Joe. But I think I refer to you as Corvette Joe.
Oh, there you go.
How about good-looking Joe and not so good-looking Joe?
Well,
come on,
you never
Jim.
can have too many Joes. I know that, you know, but I'll again,
Joe number 2, Joey 2.
All right. Yeah. Maybe I'd just be Joey. How's that?
Joey Chestnut. That sounds good.
Okay. On a little more serious note, as you may recall, Northern Tier Library, we made a donation to them. They are actually closed right now, so you can't actually go to the library and look at the tree that we funded for their annual holiday fundraiser. But you can go online. I spoke to Diane Ellis, who is coordinating this whole thing. She said you can go online and you can bid on that tree or a tree if you like. So just for your information in that regard. Couple things too that the community service has been involved in here recently. We did, as you may know, we didn't do bell ringing this year. The Salvation Army has been a little bit reluctant to come forward and say exactly what they needed and what they wanted. And Walmart also was a little reluctant with coming forth with information. As it turned out, Walmart did approve that they would allow one bell ringer at the exit door. As you will recall, we've done 4 at a time, 2 at the entrance and 2 at the exit doors for the Walmart. And during the board meeting here recently, we did decide that probably it would be better if we just did not participate in bell ringing this year. I did speak to the North Hills Community Outreach person that's in charge of that. And she was very understanding that we would not be able to do it. She was pleasantly surprised though, because the board did approve a $500 donation to the North Hills Community Service, which she was very happy to receive as well too, I might add. Another thing that we did do, and I think Gary, I haven't had a chance to reach out to you, but we did put in a request for the Lighthouse Foundation for a $2,500 donation that's on our budget to them. I think that that did go forward, I believe. Is that correct, Gary?
They should have it.
Okay, very good. Just wanted to make sure. All right. I did also reach out to Amy Smith in regard to the Mars home, and Amy hasn't gotten back to me yet. I'm not sure exactly. It's on our budget, a $5,000 donation to the Mars home. I wanted to talk to Amy about if there was something specific that we should annotate as far as the donation would go. Amy hasn't had a chance to get back to me yet, but hopefully we'll get that done here in short order as well too. Okay. And also, the board did approve a new sign for the Richland Park. Actually, Ken Fleeson and I are going to Sparks sign here this afternoon to go over the final design on that here this afternoon. So hopefully, in the not too distant future, we'll have a new sign up at Richland Park out in front of their barn there, the community barn that I think a lot of social activities take place. So other than that, community services driving on.
Great. Lots of work that you've accomplished there, Joey.
Okay. Thank you, Jimmy.
That's great. Appreciate it, especially that sign project. I know that's a little bit of an undertaking, and it's been deteriorating over time. So thanks so much for getting the estimate and working through that. And Ken, thanks for your support and help on that too. Mary, are you still with us? Oh, there you are.
Yep, here I am. So international, as Gary said, I asked for some disbursements, and I saw they were on so we dispersed money to the Honduras, Dream Big Honduras and World Access Project, but Richard's going to talk to us next week, so I'll let him discuss that. And then we finally got it on the calendar. We had donated a couple months ago to the Beirut Cedars Rotary Club and in Lebanon, and then I finally have them on the calendar to actually speak to us in January. So I had been emailing her without any response, so I just messaged her on WhatsApp, and it was like magic. I had a response immediately, so I'm like, of course. So but anyway, so yeah, so January 13th is when they'll speak. And then I just wanted to thank the club. As Jim said, I finished chemo. So technically I'll finish December 17th, but my last IV chemo is on Friday. I'm almost done. I'll be done before Christmas. I was supposed to be done on Thanksgiving, but of course I caught COVID because why not? And then, but it's no case of COVID and I'm fine. And so yeah, I'll be done with chemo, but I wanted to thank the club. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the club sent flowers, I believe, to myself, Mike, and Ed Vogel. So I was sitting at home a couple of weeks ago, and all of a sudden my doorbell rang, which never happens, and this guy holding flowers, and I'm like, who sent me flowers now? And it was the club. So I wanted to thank the club for sending me flowers. So.
Well, that's all great news, Mary.
Thanks.
Mary, you also sent out funds to Shelter Box.
Oh, did I?
$1,000 and Doctors Without Borders, $1,000.
Oh, okay. I must have really sent out some requisites. I did those all on the board meeting the other night, and I couldn't remember what I sent. So, yeah. Okay. So, well, and I'll just repeat what Jim said. So we got the Hero Award, and the reason we got that Bronze Hero Award is if you donate $1,000 a year for 3 years, you become a Bronze Hero. We can become a Gold, but we'd have to give too much money, so we don't want to do that. But $1,000 is a nice donation every year. So.
All right. Okay. Any questions for Mary? Super, Brandon. I know I saw your name on the screen. We never get to see. Oh my gosh.
I'm here. Hey guys, Mary, great news. So I know everyone was thinking about you. So that was really wonderful to hear that. So New Generations, today is World Affairs Day. The World Affairs Council, their first official virtual event. And unfortunately, I think the notification and the timing of this was delayed a little bit. That's kind of the bad news. So we didn't get quite the representation that I think we've had in previous years. The good news is I believe both schools did have at least one individual sign up. So I will follow up with each of the counselors, and if there's an opportunity to get those two students to speak with us virtually, I'd like to suggest that we do that maybe next month sometime if there's opportunity on the schedule, or later this month. Also, I'd like to thank Chuck. I know he's not on the call now, but he hosted essentially, or emceed the first virtual Student of the Month last month, and I thought it went very well, and technology worked, and I just really appreciated him emceeing that event. So that's it. That's it from my report.
We just got to figure out what the secret handshake is.
That's it. Hopefully they'll teach us that, Good to see you.
One comment on the World Affairs Council is, if any of you are interested, they're having a panel tomorrow from 1 to 2:30 on the situation in Iran. So kind of very timely topic they're going to be discussing.
Right. Okay. Well, Brandon, thanks for getting that Student of the Month organized. I know it was a lot more challenging with trying to get everybody virtually, but yeah, it was a good event. We had some nice participation, and yeah, World Affairs Council is always a really good event. So.
Hey, you just reminded me, Jim, one more thing. Because the students were unable to attend in person, we did get I believe there was 5 students that were selected for Student of the Month. And we did, I don't know if it's gone out to them yet. I think Chuck was going to handle that, but we did prepare their certificates along with a gift certificate from Chick-fil-A, so that we did the club page for that as well. So.
Yeah, when Chuck told them that, I think they were more excited about that than the secret handshake. So,
yeah, it's peppermint milkshake time. How would I know that?
Chick-fil-A,
yeah, right.
Still a popular place with the youngins. So, well, that was all we had in terms of updates and reports. Anything for the good of the club? Anybody have any questions or comments or stories or?
Well, I was, Dan mentioned secret handshakes. I was trying to figure out what the Chips family secret hand signals were that we saw earlier in the call.
That's babysitting the grandchild.
I thought maybe you were doing, you thought maybe that someone like me is hard of hearing and you were doing, sign language, but then I got befuddled, so then I wasn't quite sure.
Oh, he just wanted to be part of the fun.
John, you and your son look very impressive on your television advertisement. I saw it the other. I don't know if it was around one of the football games or something, but that was nice.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun filming that. We filmed it at KDKA Studios. We got a tour of the newsroom. We got a tour of the Pittsburgh Day Live set. There's a lot of takes. I mean, it takes a lot of takes to even put that much footage together. And it was an interesting experience. I might mention that behind me, but you can't see because how small the pictures are. I know many of you know I live out in the country, and out my front door is a cow pasture full of cows. And around the corner is the acreage that these farmers raise crops to feed their cows. Well, when Trump came for his rally at the airport, less than a mile from my house, they used the farmers' fields for parking. And there's hardly ever any vehicles on Powell Road. There were 15 tour buses lined up to pick people up from the cow pasture and take them over to the airport for this rally. It was the most amazing thing to see. It was crazy. So we got a picture of it. I thought I'd mention that.
And those are all the cars we can see. Is that like a light, or is that the sunrise over top of the cars?
That it's a Klieg light. They lit the parking lot. They lit the fields, so when the rally was over, the people could find their cars in the dark. So that's what that is. And his helicopter flew over Tim's house on the way to the airport. It was crazy.
Do we have time for a zinger?
Sure.
It's mildly political. Is that okay?
You're amongst friends.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, but thanks. Okay, so during the campaign, late in the campaign, Donald Trump spoke to a group and he said, "I can't believe that if I lose, I'm going to lose to the absolute worst presidential candidate in the history of this country." And Hillary Clinton said, "Wait a minute, you can't take that away from me too." That's original material. I wrote that myself.
I was at that rally. It was unbelievable. It was so much fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I could walk it. I didn't have to.
Yeah, statistically, places where he rallied, he did worse. I was shocked to see that, but he did worse in 30 of the 33 rally points, which was shocking.
Well, that proves something, doesn't it, honey?
Well, yeah, the luster is off the apple or whatever it is.
I have one quick announcement if I could share with everybody. On Sunday, my father, who survived COVID, will be 96 years old.
Wow. Good for him.
Right.
Good for him. That's awesome.
He's not real well, but he still knows me and still asks me how business is. So it's all worth it, you know?
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super.
Have you been face to face?
Yeah, I went.
Have you been able to?
I mean, plexiglass, as if we're in jail. I mean, plexiglass between us. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And my mom too.
You're used to that, aren't you, Jane?
Shut up.
They don't call me Big House for nothing, do they, Chips?
Don't make me come down there. Wait, make me come down there.
Make me come down there. Yeah. Here, I'll turn it around. You can see our bright blue sky.
Well, stop it. Just
Yeah.
stop it.
If I see
sky here too.
If I see a cloud, I'll name it Richmar, okay?
Mary's showing that we have blue skies, but it's the stuff on the ground that hurts us.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Well, it's great to be with you guys. I'll check in with you soon.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for attending today. Have a great week. Stay warm.
Will do. Bye-bye.
We'll see you all next week.